Mr. McSweeney.
Mr. Speaker, to the bill. I strongly support this legislation. It is absolutely outrageous that we could be in a position that members of the General Assembly are getting a pay increase while social service agencies don't know how they're going to be funded. People are talking about raising taxes. What we should be doing is we should be in session around the clock to adopt a budget so that we could do our job. This is a good first step. I strongly support this. Stop the madness. Vote yes.
Mr. Sandack.
Thank you. To the bill. I concur. It's about time, actually. So I welcome the Speaker's bill, and I encourage every member of this General Assembly, members of this House, to vote in the affirmative. Obviously, I'll remind some people for 3 weeks straight, those of us on this side of the aisle tried to do this very thing and were, frankly, stopped because of procedural rules that the majority has put into play, not wanting to hear that at that time, a pay raise was the worst thing, the worst optics imaginable. So I'm glad, late coming nonetheless, I'm glad the Democrats in charge of this House, of this General Assembly, and the legislature now see the propriety of not taking a self-serving raise amid a budget controversy, a budget crisis. Welcome. Thank you for that. I'll remind some folks also that since 2010, COLA increases were verboten. It was only last year, in the throes of a partisan budget, was it embedded on a partisan roll call. In fact, some members of this assembly didn't even know they got a pay raise that they voted on. Think about that. Boy, that's a contrast in times right now, right? Because now we're scurrying for cover to show people, our constituents, and many people who aren't getting a paycheck, hey, we're gonna work with you now. We're not gonna take our self-serving raise. Well, that's wonderful. Congratulations. I still say, and I'll agree with my colleague who just spoke, we ought to be spending time working on the budget. But we've been coming down here working on things that have nothing to do with the budget. Albeit this kind of does, so I welcome it again. Folks, I'm glad you get to take this vote. I'm glad the Republicans will stand with you in a bipartisan show. Of course, we had a bill in May that no one wanted to talk about then. So welcome to the party. Thank you for your cooperation. Let's work towards getting a budget done that makes sense. And that means no tax increase, ladies and gentlemen. It means let's get a budget done. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Mr. Sosnowski.